Sherri.
Thank you, Senator Markey and David. Yes, Sherri Goodman, founder of the CNA Military Advisory Board.
And you were there,
General...
Sherri.
Yes.
On day one in 2007, she brought the generals to me. Thank you.
You're welcome. And now we've created an International Military Council on Climate and Security to sort of take this conversation globally. But on the Green New Deal, Senator, how do we move beyond the socialist attack to enable more of the bipartisan support of the resilience opportunity, which is clearly inherent in this discussion and in the total energy transformation
When
of
you
our
say,
society?
why don't you expand on what you mean by resilience opportunity?
Well, look, I mean, you know, we know that the climate threats pose existential risks from sea level rise. Well, we won't go through all that, but our communities, our people, I mean, we announced at the Atlantic Council yesterday a new Adrian Arce Rockefeller Resilience Center with a goal of making 1 billion people resilient by 2030. That's in line in some ways with the mobilization goal you announced.
And why do you have to make, again, why do you have to make 1 billion people resilient?
Because of the climate, the existential climate threat that we face.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so within 15 years, Mar-a-Lago's going to be underwater for over 100 days a year. It's going to be Mara Lagoon, not Mar-a-Lago.
I love that.
Key West, the melting tundra in Alaska,
Yeah.
the forest fires in California. Now just extrapolate around the rest of the world, the Arctic,
Yes.
now becoming a vacation spot because of the open passageways up there.
Or emboldening our adversaries.
Excuse me?
Emboldening our adversaries.
Emboldening our adversaries, the Russians and others, in causing more expenditures on our part, military expenditures, that we now will have to spend. By the way, the climate deniers don't build in repair of Camp Lejeune or Tyndall Air Force Base or building new ships to go up into the Arctic. That's all just loaded onto the defense budget in the supplemental budget, so it doesn't even count against the deficit. They just load it up, just a few more billion over here, who really cares? They'll fight the tax breaks for wind and solar, though. They'll fight the tax breaks for all electric vehicles. They'll fight that money, you know? So you are right. When you're aligned 100% with the insurance industry of the United States on their now high probability of the additional damages which are going to be inflicted along our coastlines and on coastlines all around the world. And in the last 2 days, PG&E, the electric company out in Northern California, announced that they're now just going to turn off electricity whenever they think that there could be excessive drought or warm weather, just to avoid their liability for creating the storm because the electricity is on and the wires are live. So that's where it's all moving. And that means that the resilience of our system is being tested to be able to deal with the consequences of climate change. So, $1 billion is just, that's a drop in the bucket. A billion people. A billion people. A billion people are definitely vulnerable. They're vulnerable in our own country, first of all, in Alaska, in Florida, but in Houston, in New Orleans, in Boston. Boston, by the way, is the Gulf of Maine, that is Boston Harbor, another way of saying that, is the second fastest warming body of water on the planet. Second fastest warming body of planet, and only the Arctic is warming faster. Now, what does that mean? Well, cod need cold water. They're just going north. Lobster need cold water. They're just going north. It's having a profound impact on our fishing industry. That's another consequence. Huh? Excuse me? Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we need to just focus upon, and Bangladesh is a good example, but there are many other places in the world that just don't have the capacity, and ultimately, we're going to be called upon in other advanced nations to provide funding sources for these countries so that we give them the protection which they need. Yes, ma'am.